Miller, Communications Coordinator with the American Numismatic Association, and we are here today. It is March 2nd at the Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona, celebrating the National Money Show. We've got a lot of dealers set up here on the bourse floor, and today I am with Bob Campbell, past ANA president, and he has got something cool in his booth to share with us. So do you want to talk about what you've got here today?
You betcha. Well, today, Amanda, we brought together a large collection of gold nuggets. Neat thing about these gold nuggets, 2 of them are found in Arizona. In fact, we have the 2nd largest and the 3rd largest nugget ever found in Arizona. The largest that's known is barely bigger than the 2nd place one. That's this one. This one has a great story. This was found near Oatman, Arizona in a mine tailing. And when it was found this side up on top of a tailings dump. A geologist from Wisconsin was eating a sandwich on the tailgate of his truck. He saw a glimmer of gold out of the side of his eyes, went over and he literally picked it up. It'd been laying on top of the dump pile, debris material, for 80 years, and anybody could have just walked over and picked it up. And this type of gold is very common how gold is found. Geologists actually call this type of a nugget a potato for its nickname because it looks like a potato. But if you felt how heavy it was, in fact, Amanda, come on over here. I'm going to put your elbow on here. Oh, put your elbow on here.
Okay.
So think of how much this is. You see all that rock there?
Yeah.
But when you see it,
yeah,
look
that's
at the camera. Yeah. Yeah, almost twice as heavy as lead. And that's really neat when you can find that. Now, of all these nuggets here, this is the other one from Arizona that was recently found. It had a large write-up in a magazine, and it was found near Yuma and less than 2 years ago. And this guy first dug a hole about 2.5 feet deep and about 5 feet wide before he finally found this nugget. And that was the only thing he found. He looked around and dug that hole to about 8 feet and 5 feet down, never found another nugget. So far, nothing, just this one. But this particular one here has been river worn, but this has been closer to the mother source of the gold. But even though that doesn't look like it's a lot of gold in there, you got to understand this isn't gold on quartz, it's actually quartz on gold. So all these pieces are all interconnected inside. If we did an x-ray, this would look like a spider web inside. And believe it or not, one thing as geologists, you can take any specimen out there, and if it has a lot of rock in this, about 1/7 of the weight is rock and the rest is gold, even though it doesn't look like it. So most nuggets that are found like in Australia, like this one here, and this one here, they actually now what we call acid dip them. They put them in hydrofluoric acid, which is a very dangerous acid, and they dissolve all the quartz rock around because they're tired of people cheating them by telling them there's more rock than gold or half rock and half gold. This one here, when we examined it with X-ray fluorescence, this one had a couple of places that actually tested 9999% gold, pure gold, which is almost as rare as the nugget. And overall, this is 99.64% pure. And then we did a specific gravity, so we can actually tell how much rock is in there and how much the weight of the rock is and how much the weight is gold, because we know the specific gravity of gold and we know the specific gravity of quartz. But because this quartz is white, that gives it more value, makes it a lot more valuable. This is my personal nugget. And the guy that I got it from, a guy named Howard White from San Diego, he always brought this to coin shows like I'm now at. For 5 years, I kept track of every time he made a price to me on it. And finally, after 5 years, I says, Hardin, I've been asking you quite a bit of time for this nugget. You keep on saying it's not for sale, but if it was, it would have been X price. So I showed him the piece of paper that I had collected the prices about 6 times to 10 times a year when I asked him the price. And he says, "You're never giving me the same price twice." He says, "Oh, that's not true. I've given you the same price every time." And I pulled out the paper out of my wallet and showed to him all the prices. And he said, what's the lowest number I have on there? And I told him, he says, do you have that much in cash on you? And I said, I do, back at my table. He says, if you got that much cash, I'll sell it to you. And that's how I got it. So when he passed away, his obituary has a picture of him holding this nugget because it's his favorite nugget. I'm now the 4th owner of it. It was found in the 1950s in Australia. We know the exact location where it came from. The mine was about a mile wide and almost a mile deep where it was found in Australia. So that's where all the big nuggets come from, is Australia. So if you want to join the gold rush, you need to go to Australia. Large gold nuggets, the owners get to name them. When they get a name, I got to tell you, they're more expensive. So this one, my daughter actually came up with the name.
Oh, yeah?
Sarah. And she says, let's call it the white nugget, because the guy's name is hard and white, but because the white rock. So when you go, what do you mean a white nugget? Who wants to collect a white nugget? I want gold nuggets. But when they see that, it looks like so white, and it's so pure gold. The contrast is striking on that particular nugget. So this one we call the white nugget. I'll let you hold it, but you got to be careful.
Okay.
So that's almost 4 pounds of gold.
It's really cool.
Isn't that neat?
It's like coming up.
I can tell you, because I've been to a lot of museums around the world, including the Smithsonian, this nugget is finer than the one in the Smithsonian.
And how much would you say this
That particular one I got offered $675,000 for it, but I turned it down. The guy who offered me, it says, well, I have to ask my wife. And I did that just to get out of it, you know. And of course my wife says, sell it. She wants to sell everything I got, you know, but I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. I love it. And so this one we call the potato. This one is called Da Rock, you know, after Da Rock, you know, Wayne Johnson.
Gold Da Rock?
Yeah, and that's the customer, he named it when he found it. He says, what did you find? I found Da Rock, you know. And so we weighed it. We wrote up the history about it. Of course, we have the exact percentage and all the specific gravities to it. This one here is our most recent one we got. And we looked at it and we tried to hold it. So I was thinking James Bond, Golden Gun. So it's called the Golden Gun Nugget because it looks like a pistol you can shoot.
That's so funny.
So it's kind of neat because of that. But again, these nuggets have not been cleaned up like a lot of nuggets. This is just how it was found in the dirt.
It's very cool.
So it's completely natural. And if you're a purist like me, you want to collect a specimen, you know. And it says, I don't want to buy because I don't want to pay the gold for the rock. And I reassure them, you're not paying any more for the rock. The rock is free. You're just buying the gold because we can tell you how much exactly the gold is in these nuggets. And this is another one we got. Same guy, Hardin Burke. This one came through his son. It's a nugget that he gave his son. And the only thing we could come up with as far as a name, that we thought this kind of looked like a longboat, almost like a canoe shape. And this is a sail. So we called this one the Viking ship nugget. Do you see the Viking ship in it?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very neat.
This is one from California, and we can actually tell through X-ray fluorescence where nuggets are found. So this one, because it has a high percentage of silver in it, we know this was come from California. If it had a high percentage of copper in it, I mean, it's always mostly gold, it would come from Alaska. And then these here, we know they come from Australia because the high percentage of gold in them. So this particular nugget from California is 89% pure gold, 89.4. But when you look at this one here, and it's probably found somewhere around the 16-1 mine or the Eagle's Nest mine, but come and hold this one.
Okay.
Doesn't it feel like you're holding razor blades?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all the sharp edges. And you would think this would be so delicate, it'll pop off. It's not going anywhere. And it's really neat to feel like this. It's like holding razor blades. It has a really neat feeling to it. So nuggets take on personality. And I got to tell you one quote that's really important. And I don't know who said this. It sounds like something Mark Twain would have said. It says, gold brings men together, like fire in a dark room.
Thank you so much for
Hey,
talking
good
about
job.
the gold nuggets here. It's very interesting. I learned something new here today. And again, we're with Bob Campbell. We are at the All About Coins booth here at the National Money Show. So make sure to stop by and check out these cool gold nuggets.
And my booth number is 711.
7-Eleven.
You gotta roll those dice.